Have you been to Vegas?
Yeah, a couple times, Doc.
When's the last time?
Last time was about a year ago, a little over a year ago, for a work conference for our quarterly. Yeah, it's one of those like tech conference like company where we had like the pool dancers holding like the big D for the company name, and we had like a comedian and all the stuff that they do to like make you feel like you belong to some great company. But I saw the bill for what that cost the business.
Oh,
like,
really?
That came across my desk on accident. It cost the company like $2.5 million to send a couple hundred people out there for.
But is that with the airfare too?
Yes, that was airfare, room, and all the events. I think it was like 2.5, maybe 3 million altogether.
Jeez.
But it wasn't like we're not a huge company, so you have to think there was probably maybe a couple hundred people in total.
It's still a lot, though. I mean, my old company, we would fly out every director and associate director all over the country to Vegas. We stayed at the Wynn, and that was and they had a big party. They had like girls in like leotards inside plastic balls on top of the pool.
We did the same thing.
They're like rolling around in the water. And then there was like any kind of drink that you wanted. There was like big screens. They took out the whole pool and all the cabana areas. There's like 4 bars. It was awesome.
Our company did the same thing. We had a couple like open bar, all paid for bar events. We had 2 at the hotel, the Aria, and then one at this like decks. I don't know. It's like a 2nd story bar and grill deck with a couple outside bars, inside bar.
Nice.
And it was all paid for. They had every kind of food you could think of. And so, and I think back on it, how many people went and all the stuff that we did and all the, and all that happened. $2.5 million was probably well utilized because we did a lot of alcohol and food and stuff. And for a lot of people, plus all the rooms. Though, do you think the hotels give you discounts? You think they like give you bundle deals and you buy that many at a time?
I thought they were supposed to, but I really don't know all the specifics of it.
Right.
I mean, they paid for your airfare too, right? You said that? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, airfare, rooms. The rooms I had was pretty nice. I mean, it wasn't like
mine was too.
A suite, but it was,
right.
I had like, the buttons, you hit the buttons and all the blinds go down. Yeah. The blinds go back
I did
up.
too. I had to strip you.
Yeah. So did I. And it was fantastic. And it was just, I had a friend who was one of our PAs, and he likes a good whiskey, and he has never been to Vegas, and it was letting loose a kid in a candy store.
Vegas will eat you. I
think he ended up in the hospital.
I got pretty messed up on that work trip. Like one of the guys on my team and I were drinking, and he wanted to play blackjack, so I didn't gamble, so I just sat with him drinking while he played. And I woke up the next morning in time for like our speaker thing we had to do or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was so hungover. I had like this half-eaten muffin crumbles on like my table with like a big water, and with my laptop open trying to program something. It was miserable. But everybody was like that. I didn't feel so bad because I was walking there. I saw some pretty high titled people also like rubbing the eyes, so I didn't feel so bad. You gotta
bust the rust, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're recording. This is the Modern Boomer Podcast, episode 4, season 3. Yeah,
I totally forgot we didn't do the intro.
We didn't. We were just yapping. We'll have to edit that in post, but for the most part, I believe that's where we're at.
Third attempt.
This is the 3rd attempt, and we are using a different. We're using Squadcast because Iris fucked me over, and they still haven't responded to me. I asked for bullshit. My money back. Yeah. If anybody out there, if you use iris.fm, tell them to go suck a dick, because it's like their stuff stopped working. It was like all janky because it would record my video in a split screen with Damo, but it would not give us our individual video. It would give Damon's individual video, but not mine. Recorded them. The only thing they asked me was what browser are you using, and I said, I'm on Chrome, and no response after that. Emailed multiple times. Hey, can we update this? What do you think's wrong? And then finally I said, hey, listen, can I get my money back? Because no one's responding to me, and they didn't respond to that either. So that's a bad business practice.
It's a great support team.
Yeah. about 5 emails left completely unanswered until I finally just got frustrated and
no,
we went with something different.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it sucks to have to re-record stuff, especially because the world's changing so dramatically right now.
I know. We started talking about Dr. Disrespect, and Dr. Disrespect in the meantime has reposted back. I showed you that, right?
Yeah, so he did another one too where he changed to his like picture of like his like header? A mine. Yeah, it was like a mine with a fish line and a hook with this tweet as bait or something.
Right. What are your thoughts on that whole thing?
I don't know, man.
For the third time.
It's kind of narcissistic. It's like kind of a narcissistic behavior. I mean, maybe he had some grand plan, but part of me, like the business side of me, wants to go, really, you're going to lose all your sponsors, burn your YouTube career to the ground, have half your community hate you, put a lot of other things into question. I mean, think about all the business partnerships that he's got going on behind the scenes. You're going to throw all that away for some hook and line and sinker bait tweet to try to, maybe win a I don't know. It just doesn't, I don't know. But some of his replies are true Dr. Disrespect, like go fuck yourself, which I was kind of like, oh, hey, at least he's living to his name, I suppose. Yeah,
I guess so. Because it's shtick, right? Like that's a character that he plays or that he tries to play. But yeah, I mean, my concern, as stated before, was that it's definitely wrong. I have a problem with the virtue signaling of people, and I've had a problem with that with stuff like this or anything, but just the whole point that like everybody is so afraid that the mob of cancel culture is going to go to them next, that everybody has to be like, I'm not associating myself with this person anymore. Like I'm done. No, cancel him. Oh wait, the San Francisco 49ers have something with him. Like gone. Like you have a thing.
No
with Turtle
investigation.
Beach, gone. Yeah, It's like no investigation. They just don't want to.
But his tweet. Sorry,
what?
Not to cut off. Go ahead. No, I'm just saying his tweet was a little sus. I mean, he kind of admitted to it, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe I just feel like if I was him and I thought this was bullshit and I didn't do what was being said, or maybe like we saw that other side from another Twitch employee in quotes, Twitch, another Twitch employee, I'm putting in quotes, who knows who these people are,
but they said fired?
That, no, I guess that person quitted it. I don't know. Who knows? They are it's a dumpster fire over there, but he's the one that said like Twitch lied about it. Like they hired the person and it was all meant to be like a deal to set him up so they can get him out. Didn't you see that? It was like an email chain.
I did see that. It's like you start thinking like, where's the real truth here? Like, is this all bullshit? People can make up a whole bunch of shit.
Right.
It's hard to say, but I mean, he admitted that he talked to somebody who was underage. He said that the conversations occasionally like teetered into the inappropriate level or the inappropriate scale of things. And, it's definitely wrong. I mean, it's a wrong thing to do. You're married, you have kids. Even without that, it doesn't mean it's still wrong. Even if you're single,
and you're mid-30 adult man, right? Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I totally get it. But I mean, I personally think there's a slight amount of difference between someone who is talking to a 7-year-old and someone who's talking to a 17-year-old who, you just have like that legal line of like, oh, here's where the cutoff is.
Right.
Because, there is that Romeo and Juliet law when you have like, when your girlfriend is 17 and they're 16 and you turn 18, that you can't just automatically go to
4
jail.
Years.
Yeah, it's a couple of years. So, I mean, obviously it's not right, but I mean, I don't think he's probably a pedophile. I mean, I don't know what he's doing.
It's just creepy. He's just creepy.
It's creepy as fuck. It's
creepy and a pervert, right?
But
what I was trying to say is that if he was, let's say, if this was a setup by Twitch to get him out for whatever reason, right, or whoever the powers that be, why would he admit to that in his tweet? I feel like if I knew this was wrong, I wouldn't say anything. I would shut my mouth, no matter how much it hurt, no matter if people were barking at my tree. I would get a lawyer. I would do it the right way. And additionally, I think if he's got nothing to hide, release the chat log. You know what I mean? Even if it's just your messages, right? I know that's missing context, but like, own up to it, because again, I mean, what's a little inappropriate, because this is where I get confused. He did go to court over this, right? Twitch terminated his contract over it initially. That's what they say. And he won the lawsuit saying that he didn't break any terms or their policies or whatever, which means that a judge a litigator looked at the contract, looked at the messages, and goes, yeah, this is okay. This didn't break it. You have to pay the man his money. Which,
right.
You know, that just doesn't make sense to me if he truly did something wrong. So what's he admitting to? What is inappropriate? Yeah. There's just so much there. It's a lot to unpack.
I would agree with that. If Twitch really thought that he was doing something wrong and they lost, how could they lose a court case? Like how could maybe it's because because they're supposed to be private and maybe they're not private. So maybe they got them on that.
That's true.
I don't know. I don't know what to say.
But I mean, legal court would have come in at that. In my opinion, legal court would have came in.
Right.
Because just because a civil lawsuit gets thrown out because fine print, there's still a legal case if he's talking to a 17-year-old in a sexual manner. That's still illegal. Yes.
Is it illegal?
Well, actually, I don't know. It depends on the state, I guess, because it depends on the.
Isn't it like what was that TV show, To Catch a Predator?
Where are they at? California?
Yeah, I mean, don't you have to like actually try to like have some sort of actual physicality? Like when it was always like when they showed up. Isn't that like when they got arrested? I mean, I'm not sure how that goes. Maybe I'm sure if you traded photos, that would probably get you in hot water too. But if you're talking, I'm not sure that talking is enough to put you in jail.
I don't know. I've just never been in that situation. So I've never had to look it up. I guess.
Thank God. Me neither.
I have decency.
My wife is older than me, so I've always had a thing for older women. So it hasn't been a problem with me. But I don't know. But it's like here's another angle. I try to think of the angles. It's not saying that I agree with these angles, but I try to think of the angles that other people may think of. And it's like one thing is, like I said before, is a 17-year-old who's 17 and a half much different physically or mentally than an 18-year-old? Probably not. But it's where we draw the line. Now, obviously, there's a big difference if you're 7 years old. That has a different. There's not even puberty. You know, there's a bigger issue there. It's still creepy as shit. But my second thing that I think about that's completely going to make people gasp and stuff like that. But it's definitely not my opinion. Chris Hansen? Was that Chris Hansen. You know what's sad about these things? For people who are pedophiles, it's like you don't have control over what you like. Like you don't have control on that. And it's unfortunate. So it's like if you like pineapple on pizza, no one's going to be able to put a gun in your head and say you don't like that. Right. And it's not, you know.
I mean, first of all, yes, it's obviously genetics, right? It's something.
There's something that makes you like that,
biochemically going on, right. But you know, there's people out there who like alcohol and you can't drink at work, and you know, there's some people that like to get shit on, which is super weird to me. And cool, that's legal in some places, but it's not. Like hate to say it, but butt stuff is illegal in some states, like Alabama. You know what I mean? So it's first of all, there's a lot of things that I think we all like, but we can't do because legalities. Mm-hmm. I can talk about my party years as a younger man, but or speeding on the motorcycle and things like that. But you just can't do it. You just can't.
I get it. I get you can't do it.
So it sucks. I guess I don't. It doesn't suck. Like I guess I don't know. That's a weird one. And I'd be curious if.
What if you don't like anything else?
You should go see a therapist.
Right. I don't disagree with you. But the point is that what I'm saying is all I'm trying to say is that not everyone has 100% in control of what they like.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that you don't throw their ass in jail.
Right.
But some people some people have an illness based
that's
on,
tough.
Societal norms. And I don't think it's right, but you have to think about it like that. It's not like I'm a deviant human being and I want to find children. Like that's not always what people do.
Right.
It's like you can't help to like what you like.
I just can't understand it. I guess, I've had buddies who had girlfriends, and I've dated a girl who was into consensual, non-consensual, which is like
what is that?
Fake. I don't even want to say the R word. It's like fake. It's like role play. Yeah. And like I could never understand that. I'm like, first of all,
right.
That's crazy. And two, how do you go about that in a safe manner? Something so violent and wrong. You know what I mean?
Right.
I drew my line on that. I'll try some crazy shit as a man. I mean, I was a teenage boy, right? I'll do some crazy shit. But that was a line in the sand. So I guess people like what they like, but
I mean, it wasn't long ago where if 50 years ago, I mean, homosexuality was thought of in a way that was considered by a lot of religions and still today as wrong, or that there was a problem. And it's basically, it's what people like. And it's like, now it's considered to not be as taboo.
As big of a deal.
Right.
Well, it's funny. I think with child or younger relationships, that's kind of gone in reverse, because you got to think about throughout history, betrothals happened at disgustingly young ages. I mean, King Henry VIII betrothed his, like, I don't know, she was like maybe 8 to the King of Spain.
Really?
His wife's brother, or something at the time. And I mean, there's a famous photo. I just saw it on like one of this history forums about a dude who's like 30, married a 12-year-old at a courthaus in like 1885 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some rural America stuff back in the day, where like, but you know, a funny historian brought up that like people died in their 40s. So like you had to start life kind of early, you know?
You did. You had to have kids in your teens.
I don't know. To wrap it all, I'm interested to see what happens with him. I'm watching his tweets. One Peg is a good source of that. He's been kind of talking about it, and I don't know. We'll see what comes on YouTube. I've never been on X so much in my life recently.
It's got to be some big legal action, because really he has, unless he goes to kick, he doesn't really have any way of making a living.
Right.
Doing what he did before. Yeah. So everyone else has shut the door on him. So
I'm really interested to see what he does. He seems like he's got something in the works. So
yeah. No, he definitely does. But I mean, just one last thing I want to say. I mean, I'm not trying to liken pedophilia with homosexuality, because with kids, the problem is that you can like mess up their mind, right? Like you can mentally abuse them. Like
they're not able to understand.
Right. Those kids may never be right again. And it really, I know, working in a hospital, like I see the horrible things that happen. I mean, it's horrible. So, I mean, it's not adult level issues. It's adult level things happening to children that can't deal with these things, and you know, are either injured by it mentally, physically. It's just, it's a different ball of yarn.
Right. Totally. It's just too much harm there, and more so. I mean, I don't think as a man I really knew what I was doing in my life until I was 25. So 18 might even be a little early for adults these days. Yes. So let's change gears on that, because we're already going to get canceled for that kind of conversation. Yeah. But anyway, you were talking to me yesterday about your Intel microcode. Oh my God. Oh,
you're running that beta
the beta BIOS update right now,
right?
Yeah. So the Intel stuff's been super weird. So for those who don't know, I was running a 10900X i9 10900X on an X299 chipset, a nice Asus board. What they used to call workstation, or HEDT, high-end desktop platform. It's the one that has the 4 slots on both sides of the motherboard for RAM, so you could do like full 8, you know?
Right.
Love that stuff. It takes Xeon chips. Well, Intel kind of canceled that, and I was having a lot of weird issues with newer software, some VR related items. I was weirdly enough capping out that 10900X in some scenarios. And I was like, well, I'm going to upgrade. And this is the first time I'd gone to what I considered a non-workstation based build, to like a normal consumer build. And so I was like, well, I'm going to get the 14800KS. It's top of the line right now for like single core and multi-threaded rankings. It's just a powerhouse system.
Sure.
I was a little skeptical in the big little architecture. But anyways, to wrap it up, I upgraded. Right. I got a ProArt Z790 motherboard. I got another brand new 32 gigs of DDR5 or whatever it is, Corsair Dominator, new cooler, you name it. I got a 4090, did a whole rebuild. And from day one, I had crashing and instability problems. And of course, the crashing instability doesn't really point to the CPU, pointed to everything else. So here I am diagnosing memory, every memory profile, timings, the graphics card, you name it. I diagnosed everything. And I was digging through late one night, and I was like, you know what? We were playing Star Citizen, and I noticed that in certain profiles of XMP, I got more stability than others, and I couldn't make sense of it. And so I noticed that there was some weird temperature fluxes, and it would crash only at certain times. And so I enforced all the limits on the motherboard and forced it to like the most stock I could. All of a sudden, it was pretty stable, and I was like, okay, that's weird. Maybe I didn't get the silicon lottery.
Right.
did some research, found out that what was happening is that motherboards are overvolting the CPUs, but it's not just a motherboard issue, it's an Intel issue, because Intel is supposed to be managing, there's some communication between the processor and the motherboard about what it needs in the voltage. And that's what the SVID is and the load line calibration. And so there's two big parts here from what I understand, is that to get these high ratings in like Cinebench, what the motherboards were doing is that when the CPU would ramp up for high performance, it would play with the load line calibration to make it stable, but bring the temperatures down. Intel was seeing this and going, oh, the temperatures are good, and clocking up even more and causing some sort of thermal cycle power imbalance there. And then I guess there was something else too. There was a microcode issue where they had one rail coming in to power all the cores and the ring. And I guess it wasn't managing the voltage right. It was burning out the ring. I don't know. I don't have all the deets in front of me, but I've had nothing but crashing issues. First, it was the out of video memory issue, which nobody would think is a CPU problem.
Right.
And then it was constant blue screening or the processor failing to do math right. Like the values that were coming out of long and hard mathematical calculations were just incorrect. Long floating numbers were wrong and had error, like floating error numbers on the end of long digits. And I was getting red things here and there, and stuff wasn't compiling, and it's just bells and whistles. I went from a completely stable system to a nightmare, and Intel's just quiet about it. I had to dig so deep, and then all of a sudden it came to the surface, and then I was like, that's it. What finally brought it down for me is I installed the first level of motherboard. I updated my BIOS to an Asus BIOS that came out that added the Intel default profile in there that locked it to 320 watts and certain amount of amperage and controlled the SVID rating to something. And it was fairly stable, but I still had intermittent crashing here and there. Way more stable, but some intermittent crashing. Because I think that during that first couple of weeks with all that chaos where I was just trying to let I wasn't overclocking. I was just letting the motherboard do its normal profile.
Right.
I think I burned some stuff out. So I have an RMA in right now to see what Intel will do. And I'm on like the third BIOS trying to still fine tune it. And as of recently, I've had to like almost completely turn off XMA or XMP, to get it to stay stable with the beta. It's just horrible.
What day did you put in that RMA?
I put it on Friday evening.
Oh, okay. So you won't hear anything till this week.
Yeah. And I just hope they'll like send me one in the mail and let me just pay a retainer, because I can't just take my CPU out and mail it to you, wait for you to do your stuff, and then mail me another one. Like I can't do that. I have a business to build. And I have work to do,
right.
I get it. So we'll see what they say.
That's horrible. So yeah, from my understanding about what I was reading was that there's the microcode actually, controls voltage to some parts of the chip. And if the voltage is not appropriate, like it can slowly burn out portions of the CPU that you may not even realize are happening until later. And the damages, I take it, are permanent and can't be fixed. And everybody, I guess, last week was supposed to get at least a beta BIOS to try to fix that microcode. But I mean, the possibility is that the damage is done. So,
for a lot of people, it is.
It's like closing the barn door after the horse got out. So, that may be what's wrong with you. I have, knock on wood, like you were saying with Joe, like I haven't really had any issues for a while. So I hope that they come out with a way you can actually run some sort of diagnostic on the CPU to find out if there is damage. I'm assuming that Intel would not really love for that to come out, because that's probably going to be a big financial hit for them if that's the truth. If you find out all that damage.
Right. I don't know. It's kind of tough because some CPUs degrade, like the degradation happens slowly. And it's like, I don't know if oxidization is the worst, but like damage is done to the tiny internal structures. And even though they still work, they're not as efficient, like the way, electrons move through them. And so, some people won't even know that their shit's damaged until months down the road. And all of a sudden they're going to be like, their CPU needs so much voltage to stay stable, and the same clocks they had are not working. And, there's no way I could overclock this processor at all. It's a KSQ processor, which means it has expandability. Right. And if I do anything other than Intel default profile on extreme, which I guess is Intel's overclock, it will fail, which is bullshit. That's not out of all. I don't know. Intel's struggling right now. They're struggling.
They are. That's a problem because it affects 13th gen and 14th gen both. And I'm running the 13th gen. I almost bought a 14th gen, but I thought that the improvement was only a couple of percentage points. So I'm glad I didn't spend more money. But
dodge that one, didn't you?
Dodge that, but it still doesn't fix the problem I have now. But some people have that silicon lottery, as Damien was saying, and your CPU could just handle it.
Yeah.
Just the arrangement of atoms is just enough where it doesn't get damaged as much as somebody else's.
The right lithography.
Yes.
Also, I think it all come down to hardware too, or how hard you pushed it. I was doing hard compiles on it immediately, tapping it out. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Get your shit together, Intel. You're better than this. I've been Team Blue since
Forever.
As long as I can remember. Yeah, this is not you. I pushed some of your chips ridiculously far, and then blew them out, and they still were stable. This is very unbecoming of Intel. So,
what's their stock at now?
Oh, I don't even know. I'm afraid to look.
You have Intel stock, I assume?
Oh, I have a ton of their stuff. Yeah. $19.
$19. Let me see what the 5-year was.
$19.
Oh boy.
They were $54 and some change when 13th gen was released. I know that because I was doing a lot of options work on them at the time.
The high over the last 5 years seems to be about $67.
$19 is nuts for Intel. Buy, guys. Buy Intel right now.
It's on sale.
They have to. They have to recover. So they're too big to fail. They're like banks in 2008.
Right. It's kind of like when COVID hit and I put a shit ton of money into like the cruise industry because no one's going to go on cruise and when COVID's there. But eventually COVID has to go away and eventually like airlines have to rebound.
Yep.
Cruise, hotel, entertainment has to rebound eventually. You just got to be able to wait
and
it
they
out.
did. And they did.
And they did.
They absolutely
did.
did.
And I did well with that.
Yes.
I might buy some Intel tomorrow.
And I'm going to play long options on them.
You can do options? Yeah. Or options.
I do a 6-month options, maybe like a straddle or something and see what comes out.
How much do you actually play the stock market like on the daily? Or do you just kind of buy stuff and just let it sit? I mean, the options, you can't let it sit, but I mean.
Recently it's not been a lot. Back when I was in Timnath and you and I were doing a lot more every day. I had made sure I had enough money in there that I could handle day trade calls. You know how the SEC gets a little pissy if you don't have enough money in your account and you start doing more than 5 trades in a 24-hour period or something.
I day traded Reddit. I got the IPO and I got like selected on the lottery to be able to buy shares and I bought a shit ton of Reddit and then it went way up and I just sold.
Yeah. I was playing Tesla for a while there. Tesla, like for some reason early in the morning, it would just go up and then and I would buy immediately as soon as like the market opened at like short sell and then watch it like, I don't know, dumb rage high and then immediately buy it back and, or vice versa. Sorry. And, short sell at its peak of stupidity and then buy back when it would crash by lunch.
Yeah.
I made some money. That's what I paid the down payment of the Ducati with.
I thought that was a bonus.
No.
No. I thought that was a bonus. You get like Ducati bonuses.
Yeah.
Your previous job. Yeah, I wish too. So have you played Once Human?
Yes.
So I think it says that you've been on it, but you've played previously. I don't know how. What do you think of that game? It's got very good positive reviews.
It's got good graphics.
It's like such a weird mixture. It has like
it's weird.
It has a little bit of Dark Souls, where people can leave like little messages on the map where you can like read stuff from other players. It has Rust kind of built into it, and then you
can build bases on cars and drive your base around. It's crazy.
And then there's this odd, the monsters remind me of something out of Silent Hill.
Yeah, they're very like mutated industrial.
Like there's a guy who has like a briefcase for a head and he shoots stacks of money at people and that's how he damages
There's
them.
There's like a bus, like an ambulance with legs, walking around.
I saw that. So weird. And as one does, as you sit there at night and you're scrolling through like YouTube shorts or TikTok shorts, and I see this game and I didn't even realize that it was Once Human, but apparently that bus that has legs is friendly, which I didn't know. Yeah. So if you hit it in the legs, it will fall down and you can jump in it and then there's like a loot crate inside of the bus.
just take the bus creature for a spin. It's just like a fast travel.
It'll walk around the whole freaking map, and you can just sit in it. But
yeah, I don't know how I felt about it. I thought the graphics were good. I thought the storyline was a little weird. It's got some weird mechanics. The base building was cool, but like, I don't know. I just feel like that kind of survival base building stuff's been burned out.
Yeah.
And I joined a server to play with another friend, and like the server that he had to play on was so full. I had to like find this little corner to make my shack, and I could barely expand. And I was like, I'm not in the mood for this. Plus, with the project, I feel like, I don't know. When I had gaming time, I didn't want to like fight zombie briefcases.
Right.
But if you're playing it, I'm down to try it again.
Yeah, I mean, I felt I needed to play something, and I was just like sitting here last night, and I'm like, you know what? I've got to scratch an itch. I can't just work all the time.
Well, I'll tell you what, Space Marine 2 is coming out in like a month, and I bought that.
That's Warhammer, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the deal? What's the claim to fame of that? What's that game about? I've seen some ads for it, but I haven't really delved into it.
Space Marine 2, you get to play the Astartes, and it's badass, and you can like smash people's faces in with hammers, and blood for the blood god, and burn the heretic and cleanse the unpure. I don't know. It's hard. If you're not a Warhammer person, it may not be for you. If you're a Warhammer human, if you're a Warhammer fan like me or Joe, it's fantastic. Like the way you can customize with like the prayer ribbons and the different known legions of Astartes and stuff, it's right up your alley. But it's got a good co-op mechanism. So even though you're not a Warhammer person yourself, I think you may enjoy playing co-op with us.
So the co-op is just like
it's like a story-driven 4-player co-op.
Yeah, okay. So it's kind of like playing like Gears of War with your friends or something like that.
Yes, then they have a multiplayer mode. It looks kind of like Gears of War, but with Warhammer, which I'm down for too. I'll definitely smash some Xeno scum.
No, I'd be into anything. It's like, to me, playing games is better when you're playing with your friends versus playing alone. Once in a while, I'll pick up a Switch or something and I'll play like stupid Nintendo things, but for the most part, I mean, the fun is being online and sharing those experiences, because I don't know, I've been around enough that I've played so many games and have all those experiences that, I remember playing, remember the first Metal Gear? Not the Nintendo Metal Gear, the PlayStation Metal Gear. The first, I was
a Splinter Cell fan, so Metal Gear was my enemy. But yes, I did play Metal Gear. I know you're talking about. You get one of these I remember playing the first Metal Gear, and I was fighting a boss, and the game would read your memory card in your PlayStation. Yep. And being that Konami, I think Konami made Metal Gear, or at least was the publisher for it. So if you had other Konami games like Castlevania or something in there, it'd be like, the guy would go to you, is like, oh, I see you like Castlevania. And I was freaked out by it, because I'm like, how the fuck does this guy that I'm fighting, this computer guy, computer simulated enemy, know this stuff? And then I think there was another time where you had to plug the controller in a different slot.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It shorted out the controller and you had to switch. That was some pretty odd, cool thing back in the day. So that stuff was cool, but anymore, it's just wanting to just be able to have a place to hang out with your friends and have some fun.
Well, the guys are playing a lot of Dragonborn or Dungeonborn or something right now, which is dark and darker, but a lot easier, a lot more laid back.
What did you think of that? I downloaded it. I haven't played it yet.
I liked it. I had fun. I like the fighting mechanisms of it. I just haven't been on to play with Joe and them, just because when Joe and the guys are on, it's when I first get off work, and that's usually where I go to the gym. I come home from the gym. By the time we get off the gym, it's 6:30. It's about 7 o'clock with traffic, 7:15. I make a protein shake. I start doing project work. By the time I'm done with project work, because I try to put 2 to 3 hours in a night, it's 9, 10 o'clock. And Joe's usually gone by then. There's nobody online. So then I'm stuck playing a single player game for an hour and a half or two, and then go to bed if I play anything at all.
Yeah. Looking at this, you've played 68 minutes and Joe has played 29 hours.
Yeah.
So
there's a little bit I've played a lot of Grand Theft Auto. I've had a couple really dumb meetings at work that I just could not get out of. And I was like, I'm just gonna play Grand Theft. I'm muted. I can't talk anyways, and the meeting's an hour long. So I've been playing. Then I forget about it. I get busy. And it's you played Grand Theft Auto for 14 hours. I'm like, no, I didn't. I played it for 45 minutes. I just forgot to shut the game off when I went back to work.
I can't wait for the new GTA to come out.
Oh, me too. Me too.
I'm gonna play that. That's
you should replay 5 because it's so funny. I've enjoyed playing 5 again. It's gonna make 6 even better, in my opinion.
Yeah, you sent me some videos on it, and they're always so funny.
God.
They're so over the top.
Yeah, I think the older you get, the funnier it gets. Yeah. Honestly, with GTA. But yeah, so we got that. I reinstalled Diablo 4 because somebody at my company is a big Diablo 4 fan, and I started playing it. And I was like, God, no wonder this. I don't know. No wonder I stopped playing this game. It sucks. He got rid of paladins, and it's a giant shop, and so I'm trying to get into that. So because I told him I'd play with him, but
that's the newest one.
Yeah, it sucks. It's a waste of money. No, not compared to other Diablos. No, it's lost.
What made it so much different for you?
The fact they took paladin out of it, which is dumb. No, but like I don't know. It doesn't feel like. I don't know. Honestly, Diablo died for me after 2. After like the expansion, Diablo 2 expansion that came out, which I can't think of the name of it now for some reason.
I forget.
Like Diablo 3 was not good to me. Immortal was a joke. Chinese mobile game retexture, and then 4 just feels more barren than what 2 was. So I'm just being a boomer.
It's currently the season of the Infernal Hordes.
Yeah.
He's like,
new season. I'm so excited. I'm like, yeah.
I was really excited for it at the beginning. I went to KFC and I got the freaking weapons. If you bought KFC through the app, you get these codes for different like weapons that you can't get anywhere else.
That's hilarious.
Jambo wanted me to get food for him because I guess he didn't have KFC around where he was at in England, and he's like, "Oh, I want the fucking codes."
That's crazy. Did you play a lot of it?
I played a bit of it in the beginning, and then it kind of like burned out because I wasn't really finding anybody who wanted to play. Right. And again, it's about me wanting to play with other people.
Right.
And then it kind of got like stale.
Well, I know some of the guys are playing Pal World right now. The new Monster Hunter game has been played with Tap and Leo and them, and Tarkov PvE, which is a lot of fun, but it's super hard. And
that is hard.
That, first of all, Nikita, if you're listening, you're a sadist asshole. Why would you make the first map in the game that you require everybody to go to between 1 and 15 and make it literally unbeatable solo? It's ridiculous. So anyways, I'll complain later about it. But yeah, I miss Tarkov. I feel like PvE kind of killed the PvP. So we'll see if it comes back after the wipe. Everybody I knew that played PvP now specifically plays PvE.
Really?
Yeah.
That is interesting. I've just opened my Blizzard updater now. Like every game needs an update, but I find it funny that like Diablo 2 is still getting updates.
I don't know what update it is. Apparently it's hanging in there.
How old is that game? Was it in the 90s?
The first Diablo?
No, Diablo 2.
Oh, no. Late 90s, 99, 98 maybe.
Yeah, that's crazy. Actually, no, Immortal. No, Diablo 3, that is. They all have updates. I got to update everything. Yeah. But how's the work on the project going?
Oh, dude. So much.
You got everything almost buttoned up and ready to go?
Oh, shut the fuck up. Shut the hell up right now. It's just going, man. It's just like it's like climbing Mount Everest. Like, there's a summit, but it's a blizzard and you can't see the top, so you keep climbing.
Right.
I'm kind of in the heat of that right now. I need to meet up with Chris so we could check where he's at, just make sure he's still on the right progress. And so, plus with some other news that's coming soon, we can't talk about. Mm-hmm. That's got me stressed out. But just chipping away, man, chipping away. Funny enough, been doing some testing on things, and it just sucks being the one dude. It's like breaking the rocks, turning the rocks into powder, smelting it, making the frame of the car, finding out the frame doesn't have to hammer the frame right. Then you smelt the engine, and the engine's too big. It's and I'm doing it all. I'm just running around this factory and smelter and smithing area by myself. But no, it's good. It's good. I'm excited for what is coming here soon. I think it's gonna be a huge motivator for us, and we need that. I'm
hoping that our goal is to hopefully have some good news in a month, less than a month.
Yep. Yeah.
So we will see, and everybody's working pretty furiously trying to make sure that happens, and that's a reality.
I'm so nervous. Are
you nervous?
There's just so much that comes from what's going to happen. It's like There's so much unknown, and I don't like unknown. You know.
Yeah. No,
Can't prepare for it. I want to make sure there's a bottle of liquor on standby.
We'll get through it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
You'll be rolling in fat stacks before you know it. You'll be good.
God, I hope. I saw that 1967 Mustang GT.
Oh, I saw that video. That was nice.
Yeah. ADS cash. No, I would never buy that.
Put some like more modern takes on an old car, like the little like turn signals on the glass of the side mirrors and stuff like that.
It was sleek.
That was pretty
asking way too much. Guy was high for what he was asking, but whatever. I'm
what
sure
was he
some
asking?
rich asshole. $360,000 for that car. That's a lot.
It's spicy.
That's a lot. That's a spicy meatball for a Mustang.
I agree.
But yeah, no, the project's good. Just gonna keep chipping away at it. And you know, I sometimes feel bad complaining because I know Chris has just so much to do himself. And I pull down his changes and I go back through and then like I talk to him. He's like, "Oh yeah, dude, this is just I threw this together to get something to work here because I'm working here." And I'm like, "Dude, I totally understand. Don't fret. We'll get it all figured out."
Yeah.
We're getting there.
You have the most busy job of all of us right now.
Programming stuff, yeah. Especially because I took a lot of client work that we were originally doing a Blueprint. I took over because it was easier to integrate with all the other stuff we needed to do, right. And it's been a bit of a battle. And I'm really afraid for when one person like goes to do matchmaking, all of a sudden it's like can't match. Oh, this game's fucking broken.
This bullshit.
This sucks. I hate you. And I'm like, oh my god, what happened? And it's like because he had 3 white spaces in his name or something, right. And I just didn't program. Yeah.
Right. That's I think that's where the anxiety comes from because the gaming community is a toxic cauldron.
That's horrible.
Of individuals who have no we're one of them and no patience for anything. You know, I think we talked about this before, but there was a great Louis C.K. bit where he was on one of the talk shows and he was talking about like the first time he ever found out that there was internet on a plane. And you know, they fly up and they're like, "Hello, you can now connect to the internet." And they're like, "This is great." And then all of a sudden, like 10 minutes later, they're like, "I'm sorry, the internet is down." And the guy next to him was like, "This is fucking bullshit." He's like, "How quick are you to fucking complain about something you didn't even know existed 15 minutes ago?"
I know.
Like, it's like, 200 years ago, people would like a caravan of like 30 people would try to travel across America by a covered wagon and only like a third of them would survive. And now you just go take a dump and watch 2 movies and you're there. You're in a chair in the sky. Like stop. But I mean, people just like have no patience for stuff. So that's where the stress will hit.
Well, and I think it's like part of it too is like I'm trying to cover all my corners, but like I'm only one man, so like I'm gonna miss so much shit. One dude program everything. I'm gonna miss a lot of stuff, and I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that shit tsunami to come rolling down, and me being like, I don't know why that's doing that. I don't know why that's broken. I don't know how to fix it.
Are you gonna take a week off when this goes live?
No, absolutely not. That's when I'm gonna buckle down the most.
No, I mean a week off from your other job.
Oh yeah, I'll take a vacation. Absolutely. Because I'll probably be doing step 1 production triage for a week straight. I'm going to have to talk to a doctor about pharmaceuticals just to stay awake. Right. It's going to be rough. No, I'm hoping it's a smooth system and I'm hoping our community understands. There's going to be some people that are mad. It just is what it is, but we'll roll it out quick. But once we start making money, I'm immediately hiring engineers. I'm immediately hiring programmers.
How many programmers do you think you need to, like, obviously, just even another set of hands is hugely, a help compared to where you are now. But as far as like, what's the minimum you think that like after the game's released? No, not to like make new games. I'm talking about like after the game's like how many engineers like to keep the game like functional, up and running, patches, that sort of thing. What do you think?
Couple dozen in each area, a couple dozen game developers, a couple dozen software engineers to like work on general infrastructure and stuff like that, and then like a website guy and some DevOps triage dudes to manage the cloud infrastructure and all that stuff. It'll be a lot. What I plan to do is I plan to hire people who have startup experience who can handle the chaos of startup, because believe it or not, that's an experience of its own. And if we can find people that been in that fucking shit fire tornado, then those are the guys we need. Or guys that have like big production experience, because it can be stressful and all of a sudden everything turns red and you don't know why and people are mad. So
yeah, we don't want to keep people mad, but we also want to be, our company is all about being transparent with the community.
I'll be honest with everybody. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why this is fucking broken, guys. So good. I'll tell you when I know.
Stand by.
Talk to you in a couple days.
Yeah, give you a couple minutes.
No, it'll be good. It'll be.
I'm
good.
excited. That's why I'm getting antsy. That's why I want it to come out. I want to see the floodgates start to open up, and I want to see people coming in, and I want to see excitement, and that's the kind of stuff that really drives you. You know, you were talking about that.
Yeah. I joke about, what I'm gonna do with my ADS money. Guys, I don't plan to do shit with it. I plan to make sure that I want to quit my job and come on full time and wake up every day and put what I normally put, you know, my normal 9 to 6 that I do, 9 to 7. What am I saying? My 8 to 6, my 8 to 7 that I normally do, putting that into the game itself every day and not having to put in what I call exhausted hours afterwards, after I worked a full day. You know, I can't wait to be able to do that, because I know that what I can do, that what I can produce, and the quality of what I release will go shoot straight up when I'm not already having to work for the man, and I can work for myself. I can't wait. That's what I look forward to more than anything else. I look forward to that. And the next product we work on, I'm excited to see what comes out of that. What comes next.
Right. We have to start having some meetings about that, because we definitely have a lot of ideas, and have to see which one we think will bear the most
single
fruit.
player game, so I don't have to write another line of fucking network code ever. I kid.
I kid.
I got to bring up, did you see the UK police commissioner threatening to extradite Americans for talking shit online? And didn't you learn your lesson the first time, old man?
That's an overreach, man. And
guys, hi.
We have one of our developers who is in the UK and is involved with security and safety, and you know, he's not been very available, and this is definitely part of it, because the whole fucking city is riots and car fires and all this shit going on. It's horrible.
I read, and I don't know how accurate this guy is. This could be one of those bullshit headlines, but that our ambassador said that they would threaten military operations if they start arresting U.S. citizens for stuff. And I think it's probably just TikTok, some red pill TikTok asshole trying to. But I'm like, if I was an ambassador, I'd like touch my people, find out what happens. Yeah. We'll stop sending you potatoes and F-35s, and then you'll be right there with, you know, Iran. Try me.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah,
sorry,
crazy.
I just want to bring that up. It's crazy. I was like, I like didn't believe it. I was like, no, this is bullshit. I had to Google it. It was on New York Times, CNN, Fox News, and I was like, okay, maybe it is real.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
This world has taken some really odd turns with the election, and we didn't even talk about the freaking election.
No. Next one. Yeah. Some spicy stuff. Next one.
Yeah. And we'll see how that goes. All I'm gonna say is my opinion. Again, everybody's, what do they say? Opinions are like assholes, right? Everybody has one. Yeah. But I think people need to stop like voting for people or not voting for people just because of how they feel about them. I mean, I think that you got to look at their track record, what they've done, policies, what they can do, right. Their ability to ambulate in a straight line, whatever. You need to be able to look at like that and say, like, some people are out there, and I'm not saying, one candidate is better than the other, but what I am saying is, if you're in the
do some research, make a good decision based off research.
if you're in the camp that you're only going to vote for one person because you dislike another person, to the point where like you could actually put a potato versus that person and you'll vote for a potato, is really not about what's best for the country. It's just about your hatred for something else or someone else.
Yeah.
And it actually, you'll see it on both sides. So it's everything goes about Trump, but I mean, it does to some degree go to both sides. I mean, you gotta say what's best for the country.
Right.
And obviously you're going to say, well, how does this help me?
Right.
That's the most important thing, obviously, to each person. But some people just hate people. Cause I think if you replace Trump with another person, there'll be a group of people who just hate that person.
Oh, sure.
Or if you replace a Democrat with them, they'll just hate that person to the degree it's like, I will vote for a cardboard box over that person. And it's just like, it's the hatred that makes you vote. I don't know if that's the right mindset.
We'll have to talk more about it next one, because I have some things I'd like to say about that same topic. but I don't want to go on too long
this
now.
was spicy enough anyway.
Yeah, it was. It was.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. This is attempt number 3 of the Modern Boomer podcast. So hopefully we'll get that out on the interwebs.
I'm just a step stool.
A day or 2. All right, guys.
Yes.
Have a good one.
See you guys. Good night.
Take it easy.